So I'm getting an ability score increase because I'm really only level 16 in rogue.
Okay.
And I'm going to take that I have photographic memory because of all my time reading books. It'll really come in handy in my retirement.
Okay.
I also get a bunch of other weird crap, like I always know which way is north, and I know the number of hours before sunrise or sunset. Like, really? What is the point?
Very odd, but yes, okay.
I think Narote is going to take the Mage Slayer feat.
Okay.
So, guess we're about to fight a big bad mage.
So you guys get, let me double check this. Yeah. You can take Mage Slayer.
I'm mostly leveled up. I just need to pick, like, I don't know, 5 stones. So that's gonna take me a minute.
No problem. You guys are fine. I want to make sure you are fully leveled up at 19 before we go much further here.
I'm just looking at my spell list, like, I could choose 2 more to write down here, but I have everything I want. I don't know what to do. I can only choose 1 more spell to prepare, so even if I find 2 more spells that I want, it's like, what else?
In addition to Fireball, I will tell you, Chain Lightning is always appropriate. I would have to say Chain Lightning, still to this day, is one of my favorite spells in the entire book. Alright. Well, you were finishing that. I'm gonna go put this away.
Total hit points is now 160.
Of course, there's the problem of trying to find a feat or an ability score improvement that I want.
Your charisma, strength, or dexterity is always good.
Or con.
Or con.
Because if you increase.
Question about spell concentration.
Okay.
Can you do anything while you're concentrating on a spell?
Yeah.
You just can't concentrate on 2 spells at once.
Right. And if
Like
you
can do a
if you are concentrating.
fireball while concentrating.
Right.
But you can't, like, concentrate on, I don't know, 2 wall of force at the same time.
If you
So,
take
I
damage,
think
you have to make a
that's
concentration
like
check.
Concentration. But I can still like attack while I'm concentrating, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yep. If you
Okay.
take damage while you're concentrating on a spell, or you have to make a concentration check. But other than that, and dropping concentration is a free action.
Alright, good to know.
And right now I'm just worrying about spells. I just still have to worry about the actual thing from 19th level.
Are you going to take ability check, or are you going to take a feat? Or increase 2 abilities, or 1 ability by 2, or are you going to take a feat?
That's the question. This is probably one of those things that I'll be doing for a bit of time in the background.
Because I mean, if you can only have one more spell prepared, then really at this point it's more important for you to figure out what you want to do at 19th level. And whether or not you get any new special fancy abilities for your class at 19th level. Most people don't. Most classes don't get anything at 19th level. They don't get anything fantastic until 20th level.
Yeah. Right now it's just the ability score / feat.
Mm-hmm. And don't forget, stuff out of Tasha's is available. So for my birthday, I asked for Van Richten's guide. I don't know. I might do a horror-themed campaign homebrew in the future. But mostly, I'm looking forward to the new class stuff out of there. Which I don't know why I'm excited for it. I never get to play. I'm always the DM, but you know, it's available to you guys. I am going to spend time this coming week prepping for Rime of the Frost Maiden. So I'm excited for that. Get out of a underground dungeon and back out into the open wilderness. What's funny is that back when I first started playing D&D, the underground dungeon was really all there was. The being out in the wilderness or doing anything in a town was very rare. That was almost considered like downtime. You know, of course you started in a tavern, but you know, in between kicking open doors and killing whatever's inside, going to town was like, oh, well, we're going to sell stuff, and then we're right back to kicking in doors. It was lonely playing Diablo. At least in Diablo, they made you walk. Well, no, you could cast a portal. So, yeah.
I kind of enjoy the free form of gallivanting around town.
I do too. There's a lot more roleplay opportunities kicking around in a town. I mean, not that there isn't plenty of... There is something to be said for making sure that there's roleplay opportunities in the dungeon too, but you know, monsters are what they are. Most of them are too stupid to interact with, you know what I mean?
Well, if you treated a dungeon and monsters as a ecosystem like a town, then you'd have basically the same level of roleplay and
True.
all that. You'd also have monsters that are in the room next door hearing the battle and joining.
Well, and that right, and that has happened a lot in our campaign. That I don't let monsters stay static. I mean, if they're in the room next door, they're going to come out and see what's going on. But this campaign especially, they did a good job of making sure that at least the important NPCs and bosses in Undermountain had personalities and they had their own goals, and they worked with other creatures, you know, multiple levels above them and multiple levels below them. So there was there is a dichotomy of interaction going on there. But a lot of the monsters, I mean, you kick open the door and there's a ooze. I mean, an ooze is what it is.
Yeah.
You know, goblins are so stupid that they're very limited. Although the goblin marketplace was some of our best role playing, but they're still dumb. The NPCs are limited in their intelligence, you know. Now, of course, if I was reading Twitter, you know, there would be some, you know, blue hair screaming that not all goblins have to be stupid. Yes, goblins are stupid. It's genetic. They are a potato. They're more likely
The
to.
whole Wizards of the Coast not being clear on the difference between species and race has led to
A lot of.
unnecessary politics.
Well, it's not even. Yeah, it's not even Wizards' fault. It's the whole thing's just stupid. It's that there are people that are upset about this is dumb. I mean, it's just asinine. They are not real. They're fantasy characters. Period. And honestly, until they brought it up, in my entire life, at no point ever did anybody that I was playing with think that orcs were the same as black people. Nobody ever said that. Nobody thought that. That was completely. They're orcs.
Yeah.
That they're just orcs. They're not real.
I agree. They're big, muscly green things with tusks.
They are there for my character to get XP. That's their whole purpose for living. They exist so that I can kill them and get their experience points. That is their only reason for existing.
I'll never, I have no desire to get involved in the social battles because, you're just going to get chewed up and spit out. But I just think it would have been hilarious to come back and say, someone who's complaining, going, wow, you sure are racist to think that black people are big,
Right?
muscly, green, and ugly.
I know, right?
Stupid.
I mean,
God.
first edition orcs had pig heads. I mean, what the fuck is wrong with you? But
You unfeeling racist bastard.
yes, yeah. Well, I mean, there's some stuff that social justice says that's good, and I'm not going to say that it's not. It is good. And then there's some stuff like fighting for the rights of orcs that is idiotic. And unfortunately, it seems like there are way more voices on the idiotic side, and they kind of make everybody look stupid. It's not a good look.
Well, I've kind of come to the belief that, at least when it comes to the vocal complaining group, that the majority are, because they're driven by anger, it does filter, it filters out a lot of the calm and rational people.
Right. Well, and that's what
So you're left with the less rational. And
that's the part that's really irritating, is that Wizards is caving to a minority, a very small population with a very loud voice. And what you end up with by them doing that is Candlekeep Mysteries, which the adventures in that book are great, that they're fine, but Wizards made some idiotic choices. For instance, none of the stat blocks have alignment. So, I don't know, I guess alignment doesn't matter anymore. But that's stupid too. And anybody that doesn't think that it's stupid is a fucking idiot. And then the other problem to that is that none of the creatures, none of the stat blocks have a gender. So, now, that in and of itself, I guess, isn't a bad thing, but from a DM standpoint, when I am trying to quickly read through an adventure and prep it so that I can have it ready for the table, I need simple things like, is this guy a he or is it a her? What is this? And what Candlekeep Mysteries has forced me to do is just be like, well, if I'm quickly scanning a stat block, I guess it's an it, because I have no idea, and I don't know if it's good or bad, and so I don't know if it's going to attack you or not. So they've removed...
Well, I have some fantastic news.
Oh, yeah?
After all of this time with Vicky the Glider, She has finally taught Telfar how to conjure animals, so now they can conjure double amount of animals together.
Nice! There's gonna be so many squirrels.
So many squirrels.
It's gonna be like it's gonna be like an old Disney movie starring Don Knotts.
We need to get some weasels, something that's the natural predator for chickens.
Are weasels?
I tell you what, I can summon 16 fucking weasels now.
Well, I mean, I don't think weasels are like a natural predator for chickens, but Yuan-Ti would be scared shitless.
Of chickens? Or
No,
weasels?
of weasels. Because remember,
Yeah, weasel.
the ferret is like the natural enemy of the king cobra.
Yes.
And like more than 60% of the time, the weasel wins. So,
Goddamn mongoose.
right. So are we all leveled up?
I'm good. I think Liam's good.
Aaron's good.
I will let you know in 7 hours.
All right, so cancel is at least playable. What about Thrick's good?
I would have prepared this like earlier, but I did not expect it to come this soon.
Right. Well, you guys made it a little bit further than I expected. and I was looking at it, and so this level is the only level where essentially they're throwing out 2 levels of XP in 1 level of dungeon. And so, but they don't give any guidelines on when that's supposed to happen. So I had to look at it, and I'm like, when is 19 going to happen? And I decided that the battle with Tobriand was going to be it. And 20 is going to happen at a very specific moment as well. But it should happen theoretically so that you are level 20 when you face Hallister, so that you can show off all your superpowers. Because at this point, it doesn't fucking matter anyways. I could have just said, you know what, skip 19 and go to level 20. It doesn't matter. Because it doesn't matter. None of the challenge ratings are right. So anything I throw at you is cannon fodder anyways. Some of the times I have to increase their hit points just to make it actually somewhat of a challenge.
So that all of the people get a chance to play the game.
Right, exactly, right. That's precisely true.
If I didn't make a character specifically encounter casters would be so much more scary.
You know, you say that, but I am sorely disappointed in the power of casters from the DM standpoint in 5th edition. In earlier editions, yeah, casters were terrifying, but especially high level ones. But in 5th edition, they're just kind of pansies.
Well, they don't. 5th edition, or let me take it back. In this setting, at least, we have never run across one where the action economy wasn't insanely in our favor.
That's true.
And that is like a 50-pound weight on the teeter-totter of balance.
That is very true. Well, you guys have learned over the past 2 years of playing this, you have learned to operate strategically and tactically. It is not, I mean, yes, there are a few times, and I'm looking at Anthony when I say this, where you guys just kick open a door and go for it. But usually you're very careful, you know, about how you are going to open a door, or making sure that you at least have some inkling of what to expect on the other side.
Yeah, we're so boring that way.
Well, It's better than opening every door and having having a character die. So
We've had some dicey moments with the door kicking. That's what makes it interesting.
right.
I
So
think the highlight of this entire campaign in terms of characters taking chances and all that sort of stuff was installing the dried up heart.
yes, putting the dried up desiccated heart into Norite was a highlight.
Yeah, that's good stuff.
Well, and that's one of those cases where it was very screwed up too, because that was a fairly low level, and it was like, oh well, if you touch this, then you die. There's no save, you die. It's like that's it. So, yeah, that was. I had to actually fabricate a way to rescue Norite in order to get around that.
Yeah, that was done as an homage to Gary Gygax.
Yes. Yeah. Speaking of which, one of my Sunday groups is actually they're just finishing up Against the Giants, which has been fairly brutal. They've had to be kind of careful about that. There's only 3 of them, and then they're just getting ready. After that, they're going to be going into the actual Tomb of Horrors. So.
Oh gosh.
Yeah. So.
The remake? Or the.
It's not
the original.
It's the original. Yeah, it's the one that they modified it for 5th edition. But I will tell you, the one thing that 5th edition did right is that traps, which most of Tomb of Horrors is traps. The traps are more deadly than any monster. I mean, they'll just. And the thing about Tomb of Horrors, like, there's one room I remember specifically. So you go into the room, and if you trigger the trap, a 10-foot thick, 1-ton block of rock falls and seals the door off. There is no way to open this. There's no way anybody can lift it. So whoever's in there, that's it. That's where they're going to die. And their character's just done. So, right. Another one was like a pit with glass walls, and the pit is it fills up with acid, and it's like, well, it's sheer surface. You can't climb your way out, so guess you're gonna take acid damage till you die.
The Tomb of Horrors was done as a kind of a gaming convention thing.
Yeah, it was.
And it was definitely scaled. But if you were going to pretend this was a serious effort, and you're an archlich, and you're making your tomb, you would want traps that worked for, like, if you could possibly do it, level 20 mages.
Well, that wasn't the point. The whole point of the dungeons that Acererak makes is so that he can get souls to feed to his phylactery.
Right.
So anybody who dies is sucked into his phylactery.
Yeah, but even you wouldn't want. I think if you ran a group of level 20s, they would go through the Tomb of Horrors without a problem.
I don't. Maybe. Because a lot of it is still going to be saving throws and investigation checks and things like that. So if that group if you had a party of all level 20s going through it, I would still probably bet on the fact that half of them wouldn't make it through.
Huh.
Like I said, simply because the traps are way more deadly than monsters are. And so, one guy misses his save, you're dead. There's no, well, yeah, but no, there's no but, he's just dead. Whereas,
True.
Like monsters, it's like, oh, well, he failed to save. Oh, well, that's okay. We can cast healing on him. We can resurrect. Nope, that guy is dead. Not only is he dead, you can't get to the corpse. You can't resurrect him. He's just gone. So
I would think that a level 20 that looked into this, that lived long enough to get to level 20, would have figured out that he needs to take a couple of wands of trap finding.
you would hope. You would hope. Yeah. And a 10-foot pole and some iron spikes.
How did you get to level? Was it just luck that you made it to level 20?
Right, yeah.
Walk into this blind?
Well, I went out in the forest and I killed boars for a long time. And,
Yeah.
no, I actually went through Tomb of Horrors at a convention way back. It was GemCon, that was by Gem Dice, and which they're not around anymore, but they were the first ones to do the translucent plastic dice, and they made them look like jewels, was the whole idea. And we each had 2 characters, and there were 6 people in the party that at the table I played at, and you had 3 hours to get as far as you could with those 2 characters through Tomb of Horrors. And I lost one of my characters, but at the end I was one of 2 people that still had somebody that was alive, and so I won a set of dice, which I still have. They're orange. They're not my favorite dice, but yeah.
It's a what is it? A special award? What was the Christmas story when he got the leg lamp?
Right.
It was a something award.
Yeah.
Special award.
Yeah, special recognition, or yeah, fragile.
Yeah.
My dice were fragile. So you guys discover that this leg of the dungeon is a dead end. So the only place, and I'm going to just move you there. To cut down on time. The only place left for you to go from here is through the double west doors.
And Flamey Flame Skull is probably getting a little ripe.
Yeah, Flamey Flame Skull. So what do you want to do with Flamey Flame Skull? Do you want to put him back into the Iron Flask, or do you want to banish him?
I'd like to ask him to walk through the one-way portal in room 12.
Okay.
But before I do that, I had a question.
Yes.
When we're reading about the flame skulls and that they are eternally bound to a task that their crafter gives them when they are crafted, right?
Correct.
And if they can no longer perform the task that they were crafted for, then they become autonomous. Is that right?
Correct.
They become beholden to no one. So I want to ask the Flame Skull exactly what his instructions are.
His instructions were to guard room 10 and the hallway to the north. That was it. Or room 10B, rather.
I want to ask him if his mission has failed and is now over, or if he were released from the power of my flask, if he would go back to, like, patrolling those rooms or trying to fulfill that duty.
His task has not been fulfilled. In fact, if you order him to go through the gate, he will travel all the way back to Waterdeep to find his way back down into the dungeon to go back doing to what he was doing. That's going to take him weeks.
In that case, I'll ask him nicely what he prefers. Would you like to be put out of your misery? Would you like to go back into the flask? Or shall I send you on a long mission?
Well, we have another option, which is to destroy the corridor that he was supposed to protect.
Just light everything on fire. Fuck this corridor right here.
You did collapse it.
if you were to ask him that, Flame Skulls are kind of single-minded, and so pondering it, he would prefer to go through the gateway and make his way back to continue doing what he does.
Alright, away you go. Have fun on your journey. We'll see you in like 4 weeks if you make it back.
Okay. I will say that you guys have enough time in your leveling up and taking a breather from killing the golem that you are able to take a short rest, and so you can spend hit dice to get back hit points if you so choose.
And everybody can get an extra 1d6 hit points.
So yeah, add a d6 to your whatever it is that you roll. I'm sure Thrick could use a couple more hit points, even though he healed himself still. He's probably down a bit.
So he's gonna rub some dirt in the wounds, and we'll listen and check out this door for traps and locks.
So you
There you go.
don't find any traps. When you step into this room, and I'm going to move you all in here.
I have one more question, Chris, if you don't mind.
Go for it.
So with the iron flask, right?
Uh-huh.
So I have something in it, and then I set it free, and then for 1 hour it's friendly before it returns to its natural disposition.
Right.
What if you order it back into the iron flask during that hour that it's still compliant?
Well, it's friendly. It doesn't mean that you can really give it orders. It will be friendly to you, but it's not necessarily under your control like a charm spell.
So, like, in order to return to the flask would be like one of those orders that's not good for it, that it would not be able to obey?
I would think that it probably not necessarily that it wouldn't be able to obey, but it may have some feelings about that.
It's like, it's more of a, hey bud, how's it going?
Yeah. Yeah, you're not, I mean, you know, if you talk to your good friend and try to say, hey, why don't you get into this dog cage and I'm going to shut and lock the door and you can just live in there, they're probably not going to be okay with that.
Or at least they'll have some serious questions.
I mean, it kind of depends on what kind of friendship you have, but probably a lot of people are going to be like, no, that's okay.
Is it possible that Vicky the glider could just go in and check out the flasks and come back out for funsies?
Yeah, Vicky Glider could do that. I mean, the inside of the flask is, it is the inside of a flask. I mean, it looks like you're in a dark space with iron walls. It's like you are trapped inside the bottom of a bottle.
I would figure it'd be like Studio 21 with.
Like plush couches and, you know. No, I agree with Jeannie. Got it. I'm good. No more questions. Carry on.
No, I mean, if there was a genie trapped in the bottle, I'm sure that the genie would go about casting spells in there to appoint the place. But most everything that you've had trapped in here wasn't doing that. They were just stuck.
Genies are made for that sort of thing. Of course they're going to make themselves at home.
Right.
Alright, I'm good.
Okay, so you guys move into this room. You don't find any traps on the door. A short, plump, rabbit-headed man wearing a dirty servant's uniform cowers in this corner. And he sees you guys and is terrified of you and is down on the floor, cowering, shaking.
Topar will cast Charm Person.
Okay.
Is that enough? Are they a person?
They are a person. They are not a beast. He's actually a commoner. Let's see here. Alright. He gets a 15 on his save.
And is that versus my spell save DC?
Correct.
I have a 15 spell save DC.
So he saves versus your charm. And now he's really scared. He doesn't know. I mean, he's a commoner. He doesn't know what it is you tried to cast on him. Somebody can make a Intelligence Arcana check.
That's my favorite. $32.
So you cancel, you look at him, and you can tell that he exhibits traits of a rabbit that has been turned into a humanoid form via a true polymorph spell.
So he's kind of like a teenager. Stupid and horny all the time. Scared.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah, he's just terrified of people.
We gotta keep it. Somebody take it. Topar will try to talk to it.
Okay.
Whoa now, calm down there, fella.
Make a animal handling check.
I've got that, actually. I've never gotten to use my animal handling. I got 17.
Okay. Rabbit Head latches onto Telfar and will not leave Telfar's side.
Yay! Listen!
So what? Remove first.
And he is gesturing down to the south. Now you can see that to the north here, there is another set of double doors.
Would a remove curse spell work to remove the polymorph?
No.
What about a divine intervention?
Maybe.
I got to spell magic.
Would dispel magic work?
No. So here's the thing about true polymorph. Once it happens, it's done.
There's
Hence-
no magic to keep me like that. It's just.
No.
Hence the true part.
And then it stops.
Yeah.
If you want to solve it, the only solution, the easy solution is true polymorph into a rabbit.
Right. A wish spell. I mean, you could try divine intervention. You'd have to roll D100, and you would need to get on something like this. You would have to roll. You would have a chance of between +1 and +3. So basically, you fail on a 4 or higher.
And I'd make you roll it right there where everyone can see it.
And
Like that.
if that is a divine intervention card that you got from the store, it's burned. That card's
I
done.
don't think we have any more cards. Well, does this creature person speak any languages?
Nope.
What if I cast Speak with Animals?
No, because he's no longer a beast.
No beasties, no. What about sending? Can I send to it? When you use sending, a creature that has an intelligence of 1 can understand you.
I don't even know if he has an intelligence of 1. Let me see.
We're spending a lot of effort on this hapless, moronic victim.
You're welcome to move on. I'm more than happy to have a rabbit friend.
Well, he's not a rabbit. He's a person now.
A crazy rabbit person.
Yeah, I will say that, yeah, you can try sending on it. And keep in mind, I mean, he has an intelligence of 2. You keep in mind that, it's going to be, if he's able to understand, it's going to be broken, and if he's able to send a message back to you, you may not get much more than just emotions.
We'll start with something simple like hungry, food, eat.
He's interested in that.
Oh yeah, I will give my new buddy some food.
Well, he's a rabbit, so he's vegetarian, so, you know.
I'm sure that I have some kind of pilot bread up in my ration.
Probably,
I
yes.
can conjure up a couple carrots for him.
Oh, he likes that idea.
Carrot leaves, because rabbits actually don't like the carrot. They like, they prefer the carrot leaves.
Now that he realizes that he can communicate with Telfar, he shows great fear coming from the southern passage, and that he is hoping that Telfar can protect him.
Most definitely. I will send back safe, good safe.
Get in the flask.
Well, it's a pretty safe place to be, I'm just saying.
I will conjure up some cheap food for the rabbit to munch on.
Okay.
He's not a rabbit.
Well,
And the rabbit then.
he's a humanoid rabbit. Yes.
He's a human that has the brain.
Of a rabbit,
Of a
yes,
rabbit.
and I will give what a rabbit would want.
Did he have ears, floppy ears or anything? Or
Yeah.
Is he? Oh, so he's just a mess.
Yeah, his head is that of a rabbit, but the rest of him is a rabbit-furred humanoid wearing dirty servant's clothes.
I'm gonna ask Telfar what it said.
It said, I'm late for a very important day.
It didn't really say anything. It just showed that it has great fear of something to the south, and that it wants Telfar to protect it.
Telfar will tell everybody else that beyond this way, both north and south, you got scary business.
I'm gonna ask Telfar if the rabbit likes its current form.
I don't think so. He has very limited communication. He's quite afraid and wants to be protected. So I told him I would be his good, happy little protector friend. Wait, what's the size difference between Telfar and Bunny Man?
He's a medium-sized creature.
So, 5.5 feet tall, like a proper human?
Yeah, roughly.
Well, this will be exciting. Maybe you'll get along with the were-rats back at the Troll Skull Manor.
Why? What did Cancel have in mind for Rabbit Head?
True polymorph.
You could true polymorph him back into being a rabbit.
That's only if he wants to be. I won't do that.
I'm sure he does. I'm very sure he does.
So, I mean, via sending, is Telfar going to ask him?
Sure, I can try to articulate that. Something's gone wrong. Your body, not right.
He is confused. Doesn't seem particularly happy with his current form.
I will try. Unless Telfar. No, I can't cast Minor Illusion. I mean, I can. Does Telfar want to cast Minor Illusion to make a image of a rabbit playing a field or something?
I could do that if the rabbit man needs like a demonstration or, some kind of imagery to help with communication.
I think it would help. It wouldn't hurt.
Well, that's a cantrip. I can cast that at will. Look, rabbit man, a bunny. That's you. You're a bunny? We can make you a bunny.
Guys, this is brilliant. We're going to confuse Halster to no end because he won't know what the hell we're doing.
I know.
So,
Carl has no interest in this bunny role.
you cast a minor illusion of this bunny hopping around, and Rabbit Head kind of ducks behind Telfar, and he's down on the floor, and he pokes his head out from behind Telfar's legs, and seems very interested in being a bunny.
Okay, let's make him a bunny.
So, Cancel's casting True Polymorph on him?
Yeah.
Okay.
Hey, guess what spell I learned?
He only gets 13, so he's a rabbit again.
Nice.
And he
And now Telfar has a rabbit buddy.
True Polymorphs into a rabbit and is hopping around after this illusion, and almost seems a little dismayed when he realizes that it is fake. But hops back to Telfar.
I will take my bunny companion and tuck him away nicely. I'll make a little sling pouch or something for him, carry him under my arm.
Okay. So which direction do you want to go? North or south?
I don't know it.
Okay. There are double...
Vote. We should go south because it was scared of something.
It was scared of both north and south.
Oh.
So pretty much beyond where we are is scary.
Okay. Sure, north.
Okay. Are you guys going to check the door?
I'm gonna become invisible.
We'll rub a rabbit on it.
For good luck. Well, you got 4 rabbit feet, so...
Yep, we're going to check this door.
So you don't hear anything. When you look inside, you see a pair of standing stones. Similar to what you saw in Area 12. Cancel, make a Arcana check.
32.
Okay. So you determine that these standing stones, there is a... on each of these standing stones, there is Hallister's personal rune. And you've determined that if you were to use your staff or finger to trace the rune, it will activate these gates. It is a one-way trip through these gates.
Can Narute make an Arcana check as to where?
Sure.
Would you activate it just for me, please? Cancel. We don't want to go through it. Just activate it. Leave it activated. Do it subtly so the chicken.
25 to guess where it probably goes.
So, in your Arcana check, Narate, you trace the runes and you activate the gate. And when you look through the gate, you can see it is clearly in the Underdark somewhere. You see dark plains with stone walls, but you see these dark plains that are covered in various forms of different fungi and mushrooms. And you can see that there are numerous myconids moving about, and you see that there's a procession of these myconids that are all like dancing and throwing out little puffs of rose petals. You determine that this
that kind of stuff.
This gate travels to Neverlight Grove in the Underdark.
We were told that Loth has a presence on this level as well, right?
Loth has an overall presence throughout Undermountain. You've run into numerous demonic shrines throughout your travels in Undermountain, but not particularly in the Wizard's Lair.
Huh. Let's not go there. Let's not go there yet.
I'm gonna kick the chicken through the gate.
Do it, and then let's close it.
Well, it will close after 1 hour.
If it was a one-way trip, then
It is.
kicked it through.
Yeah. So you kick the chicken through the gate.
Yay.
On the other side, you see this dancing procession of myconids kind of joyously grab the chicken, and they are singing a song about that they are getting ready for, quote unquote, her great wedding. And they're throwing the chicken up and rejoicing and talking about how there's going to be this fantastic wedding. Aaron, make a perception check.
30.
In the distance, past the myconids, you see what looks like it's starting to get foggy in the distance, but you can see what looks like a gigantic 30-story tall mushroom. And there's something large moving inside of it.
I'll share that information.
It's a spider.
No, you hear a
Yeah.
voice. And the voice says, "Have you come to join Zuktmoy's wedding?"
What?
Everybody make a wisdom save. DC 19 wisdom saving throw.
Is this a spell of any sort?
No.
Okay, then the first roll's all I get. So I made a 20!
Yeah, you don't get any insanity. Telfar, what'd you get?
I roll for Telfar, and I get 21.
Okay. Thrick. Thrick, are you muted? Norte, what'd you get?
So I rolled a 19, but
So-
then I had 30.
Okay. Cancel, what'd you get?
25.
Okay. So, all of you realize that Zuktmoy is the demon lord of funguses, and that's who's speaking to you from Neverlight Grove. The rabbit is tucked down in its cozy little bundle, shaking.
I'm gonna leave and recommend that we all leave and just close the door.
We're just gonna pretend we didn't go in that room. What this tells you is that there are things afoot in the Underdark.
Yeah. Demons are getting married to somebody.
Oh yeah.
That's where Bob went. Bob had to go plan a demon wedding.
Well, technically Bob's a devil, but still.
A devil wedding. Alright.
Yeah, devils can be talked with, and demons need to be killed.
Yeah, devils can be, you can have a conversation with devils. Demons will wear your pelvis as a hat. Okay.
And I quietly close the door.
Okay.
Like, oh, that never happened.
So you go south and you find that there is a single door to the northeast, and then further to the south there are a set of double doors.
So far, we'll check the door to 16.
Yeah, we're gonna listen for traps.
Yeah.
Listen for trap. So you don't hear any traps. There's no traps. When you look in the room, you find that it is an empty room, except for a dusty wooden broom that leans up against the wall.
Fireball.
I found the magic broom.
Pop it in the bag of holding. I mean, we can always sell it as a curiosity taken from the bottom levels of Undermount.
It's probably a spelljammer seat in disguise.
Well, I'm not piloting that ship.
Right?
I'll give you hemorrhoids.
So yeah, no, the broom's not magic. It's just a regular broom.
Well, there's bound to be a use for it later. We'll just chuck it in the back hole.
You know how?
We found the janitor's closet.
Yeah, you know how Hallister likes to sweep things up. So I don't know. Maybe he wants it. And then there are the double doors to the south.
All right. Once again, we listen for traps.
Okay. Telfar and Aaron make a perception check.
$26. Well, actually, since I could prep, 29.
Okay.
27.
So you both hear some strange music coming from the other side of the doors.
All right. Well, there's definitely something.
String music, or you hear big brassy band music, or harps, pianos.
It sounds. It's hard to put your finger on. It could be like a mix of chimes and string instruments, but it's hard to really pin it down. It sounds very Fey-like.
Well, we have intelligent critters on the other side.
My thinking is that with some bardic skills and bardic knowledge, perhaps Telfar could pick out a tune and play along.
That might not be a bad choice.
Do it.
That be like a performance check?
It would be. Are you going to play along and step into the room?
Yes, but before I do that, I have a question.
Okay.
If I have a magical instrument, is it possible to play that instrument without triggering the magical effect, or is the magical effect automatically triggered when the instrument is played?
Oh no, you can play the magical instrument and not trigger the effect.
Okay, then that's what I'm gonna try to do. I will pull out my panpipes of haunting, but without the haunting.
Okay. And you step into the room.
I will sneak into the room.
Okay, make a stealth check at disadvantage.
I can do that. That's a 29 at disadvantage.
Okay, that's pretty good. So you are able to sneak open the door and slip in and shut the door behind you. And you kind of come in and you're tucked behind this pillar. And what you see is that the first thing that you immediately notice is that up here, standing on a raised dais, is a gaunt figure with blue scales and bone spurs on her forearms. She's clearly female. She's got bone spurs on her forearms and elbows, and gossamer wings, and a flowing bluish green gown. And she dances around, and fluttering around her is a swarm of butterflies. And around the room, you see, like here and here and here and here, are more of these animal-headed people. There are 6 of them. They have the heads of various. One looks like a squirrel. Another one is another rabbit. There's one that looks like a frog. There's one that has like a blue jay's head. One is an elk with full antlers. All of them are cowering in fear of the person dancing up on the dais, and they're all dressed as Rabbit was in muddy, dirty servant's clothes.
Never. Are you so many true polymorphs?
Well, do you want me to make a performance check to see how well I play?
Yeah, go ahead and make a performance check.
At a 19.
Okay. So the person dancing slowly keeps dancing, but slowly turns to you, and you see the swarm of butterflies kind of part away from her vision. And when she turns to look at you, you can see that her face is what may have at one point been elvish. You're not quite sure, but it is gaunt and decayed. and little red pinpricks are in each socket of her eyes. And she says, "That's very nice playing. I am Arcturia. Welcome to my demesnes." And that's where we will pause for this week. Now, if you remember, Arcturia was a lich, and you guys stole Arcturia's phylactery.
This man destroyed it.
No, you didn't.
Really?
True, because that mimic we found was all a dream.
Right. All of that was a dream. Thanks to the mind flares. Right. So, in your bag of holding, you still have Arcturia's phylactery. Cliffhanger.
Nice thing to hold on to.
Cliffhanger for next week.
Well, thank you, Chris. We're taking off.
All right. Have a good night.
Bye-bye.
Have a good night, guys. I will see you next week. And I will see Alyssa on Wednesday.
Yeah. Right on, guys. Have a good weekend.